Going to be doing a game breakdown of the Philly versus Celtics game. Obviously, we have a free square available as well, so we want to be able to apply that in the best way possible, in the best possible way to present a profitable outcome for us. So that's going to be the goal of today's video. Let's go ahead and break it down. So once again, we do have that free square available for Joel Embiid. Obviously, we're going to take that. Now, just looking at the NBA playoffs, we do have one game today. That's going to be the Sixers versus Boston. Boston is favored to win by 6.5 points. The game over and under is very low as well, which is something that I don't really like because I typically like to bet the overs. And given the game over and under, and given the fact that the lines themselves hasn't really changed too much, that is kind of presenting us with the idea that we should actually be betting the unders rather than the over. And that does get me a little bit worried. Now let's just talk about both sides of the basketball, kind of what's expected. So Embiid, just points wise, I don't think we need to touch that just because we do have the free square prop for Embiid. Really just in general, I don't know if we want to touch any other Embiid prop. We are looking for the best props to pair with the free square. I am treating this as a taco where if we make 5 individual separate bets, all we need is for 3 of them to cash. And then we're going to have a profit. Obviously, if 4 hit, we're happy. If 5 hit, we're happy. I like to use this as free money. That's the goal, is to have free money. If we hit 2 of our bets, we are winning $5 as well. So that's my goal for today. 3 bet. And so I just don't want to play Embiid in that regard then. So we got James Harden. James Harden had one really good game, and then besides that has kind of struggled at least in points aspect. But at the same time, like, sure, maybe not shooting the basketball as much as you would want, but he has been getting a lot of assists and a lot of rebounds. Been getting enough steals as well. So points would not be the way that we would want to go with Harden. But let's see if we have any other bets that we would want to roll with for James Harden. Points, rebounds, and assists, probably not. Like if we're going to do a prop, maybe assists there at 8.5 and then potentially rebounds at 6.5. You know, he's been over that or near gain over that in every single game thus far. And minutes wise, he has not really been leaving the floor as well. So that's going to void well for him as well. Then the fantasy score prop probably is a little bit too high. I mean, last game, guys, he had 3 steals and 1 block and still couldn't get the over there. That is crazy. Now, that's because he had 5 turnovers. That's a big reason why. And he only had 13 points, but he still had 9 assists. Like, he should have been able to smash this over fantasy point, but he just hasn't been shooting the basketball enough. And so that's kind of a big issue to me. So we're probably not using him for fantasy score. I'd say the best prop that we have available for him is actually going to be the assist or rebound prop. And then I'm just looking at the cheat sheet to see which props we would want to be on the most. And then once again, yeah, it kind of looks like what we'd want to do is actually bet the under for someone like James Harden, kind of like the game is dictating there. That's really what we're seeing. And we are seeing as well that, sure, assist prop, that's strange. They are bumping this and bumping it down. So they bumped it from 8.5 to 9 earlier today. And so like once this refreshes, it'll be there. That's kind of crazy to me. And he's only projected to get 8.8. That's very interesting there. We see why they originally bumped it because the over odds are favored there, but that's at 8.36 for the average sportsbook line. Just interesting there. Fantasy score we're not touching. Yeah, it's just very tight lines there. Yeah, probably just not touching James Harden. Let's look at Tobias Harris. Okay, so this is another interesting situation here. Probably a better bet on one of the sports books here, but we can see average odds for over points, rebounds, and assists for Tobias Harris, minus 139 to get over 21, essentially. PrizePicks has this line set at 21.5. The projection is 23.4, though. So just a very interesting line that we are getting there. You could potentially do points and assists, where it's kind of a push there. Not terrible. It is projected to get over that as well. It would appear that the best line that we have for Tobias Harris would actually be doing the over fantasy points. He gets a little bit more minutes. That could be a pretty good one. Obviously got into foul trouble 2 games ago where he only played 31 minutes, but if he doesn't get into foul trouble and if the game stays close, I do expect him to get right around 40 minutes. But we are seeing here that we probably are just wanting to bet a lot of the unders, and I just don't really like to do that. Just for points, rebounds, and assists, I just want to pull it up here and see if there's a difference between what Underdog has that valued at as well for Harris. Okay, so no, they have the same line there as well. Now let's get into Maxey. So Maxey as well, we can see the lines are all pretty tight. But once again, it kind of feels like PrizePicks is kind of overvaluing a lot of the production for these teams. PrizePicks line set at 21, so is Underdog. Average sportsbook line has it set at 20.25, and it's not like this over number is that high. And if we adjust it here, it's favored, but basically a 50% chance. That's kind of crazy there. And so we can see, like, for Maxey, sure, slightly projected to get the over for assists, but almost a 54% chance for that one to hit. So interesting there. Like, I hate it, but it might be a day in which the unders are the way to go. And that's true just based off of how Vegas thinks this game is going to play. They think it's going to be a low scoring game. Now let's switch up and let's get into probably what is my favorite bet to use, at least at the start of the day. And that's going to be looking at Malcolm Brogdon for over points, rebounds, and assists. To me, this is one that I'm comfortable saying should be a part of the bet of the day as well. The reason being that this simply seems like too good of a line to pass up on. Minus 140% chance for him to get over 21.64 for points, rebounds, and assists. And we can already see Underdog has bumped that. That is easily one that you should make with the Joel Embiid free square. That is one of the props that you should make with it. Now, you could potentially do fantasy score as well. This is a prop that is also standing out for Malcolm Brogdon. And once again, we already saw Underdog has bumped up kind of all the props for Malcolm Brogdon. The issue that I have with this is that he has literally been crushing this a lot already. And the worry is that, just due maybe to have a bad game. 2 games ago, Malcolm Brogdon just missed like 3 to 4 bunny, kind of the floaters that he shoots, and didn't get there. I would say that was his bad game, but as long as he continues to play efficient, we can see why the sportsbooks are kind of favoring that over. That's probably the best over bet that we're going to get in this game. Now, what I find extremely interesting is that the over fantasy score is on paper the actual best prop that we were getting with Malcolm Brogdon. What I find most interesting about this prop as a whole for Malcolm Brogdon is that yes, Vegas thinks he's going to get over. If you look at what his PrizePicks line should be based off of the sportsbooks, average odds that we have coming in for each prop should be at 28.1. Now, he hasn't done that recently, but they're kind of expecting him to have a better game. And so he's also projected to get over that as well at 26.2. The issue is he hasn't really crushed this at all. It's been very consistent, very tight. And so it does seem like points, rebounds, and assists would probably be the one you would want to go with the most. But if that gets adjusted, bumped up before game time, like I expect it will, then we probably just want to roll with this Malcolm Brogdon prop. Now let's go ahead and look at some other Boston props that we are getting. Just a reminder, guys, midway through the video, make sure to like and subscribe to the videos. We get about 1,000 to 3,000 views per day, only get about 50 to 100 likes. We can do better than that. I mean, we are giving out profitable advice week in and week out. Let's just, hit that like button. It does help out the channel a lot. It actually will help to push out this video to more people. And it's not like DFS where people might try to withhold that, so they don't lose their edge. No, we're all trying to cash together. And that's why I always tell people, if you have a prop that you really like, put that in the comment section. We're all trying to win together. Now let's just look at the rest of the Boston Celtics. Which players are we getting the best props with? Let's just sort by the over percent. And so we can see PrizePicks has bumped this one for Al Horford here. So we can't use that one. Okay. Another one that has been bumped as well. But this is another interesting one. So Tatum for over rebounds, minus 142 to get over 9.36 rebounds. Okay. Underdog has bumped this to 10. PrizePicks will probably keep it at 9.5. It's just a very interesting one. So by taking out the juice, this only has about a 52% chance to hit based off of the PrizePicks line. Just an interesting one there. And so it appears the best one that we are going to get is actually going to be Jaylen Brown for over 5.5 rebounds, has about a 54% chance to hit. That's a pretty good one. Let's go ahead and take a peek at that. So Jaylen Brown for over rebounds, over 5.5. We can see 6 there, 6, 3, 7, 3, and 6. So 4 out of the 6 games thus far, he has been able to get the over. The issue that I have with it is that the 2 games that he didn't get the over on, not even close, 3 rebounds only. And there's no real rhyme or reason. Does average 6.6 on the season. So that is something that we're obviously going to like there. EV wise, if we're just making the best bets available from this game, we could use that. We could use the Brogdon one and just hope that they do hit. And then if we use that with the other EV bets that we get on the day, then we should be fine. Wow. Okay, guys, that sucks. Gosh, the tough part about fantasy content. I should have done a live stream. I felt like I should have, and I didn't. I apologize for that, guys. Obviously, a little bit tighter here. I'm actually really shocked that they got a bump in fantasy score for Malcolm Brogdon because they did bump up his points, rebounds, and assists. That's really frustrating, honestly. But we continue on. Okay, so another very interesting one. Marcus Smart for over points. He is projected to, or the average Vegas line has it set at 14.13. And see, like there is a lack of consistency here between the sportsbook. There is some sort of edge here. And to me, it does seem to be betting the unders. I just don't like to bet the unders. We can see based off of his projection, is projected to get 12.8. Like probably just a better bet on the sportsbook, unfortunately. But obviously with the free square, we're trying to make the best decision we can possible to have a profitable day. Probably just not the best one there. We continue to move. It's just crazy how many of these props are just a lack of consistency there. And so let's just scroll down here to find the best over bets because it's already sorted by that. It is going to be Jaylen Brown. Sadly, that's probably the best bet that we have now. 46% chance for the under to hit. Obviously, we'll take that EV. And then this is how tight the lines are that are incorrect based off the average sportsbook line. Very tight there. And then even the under odds are not really good as well. So we'll see what happens with that Malcolm Brogdon prop. We'll see. I don't mind the Tobias Harris one. We could use that. Okay. And then Jaylen Brown. So those are like the 3 from this game. Let's try to find some other ones that we could use as well. So let's go ahead and start with some MLB based prop. Okay, so we are seeing that the MLB lines are kind of tight right off the bat here. We got Tanner for over 1.5, walk at about a 53% chance to hit. Not exactly one that we want to chase. And then the rest of them are under 53%. Don't really want to chase those. Let's go ahead and maybe touch on some potential pitcher strikeouts here. These are all where the under is favored. All these right here. But we can see there's about a 0.5 prop line difference there. Not terrible, but we can see the over percent are not great. They're all under 50% there as well. So probably not touching those. Let's go ahead and look at hitting fantasy score. That's really where we find the biggest edge. We'll start with pitching and then get into hitting if there are any good pitching props. So yeah, no, not really any good pitching props. Let's go ahead and look at hitting props. And guys, the one from yesterday, Sandy for over fantasy score, should have just done strikeouts in retrospect, but man, that was a bad beat. One, the manager left him in too long. If he just picks up his quality start, he hits the over fantasy score. And then there are two errors that were not errors that caused Sandy to miss his over fantasy score. Infielder just like misjudged a ground ball, strangely, that allowed a runner to score. And then Jazz, I don't know, it looked like he was going to have a catch at the wall, and he just missed it because he was worried about the wall. And then that allowed 2 more runs to score. So that was a very bad beat yesterday. Should have just went with strikeouts. It was kind of a 50-50 there. Hopefully you guys went with the strikeouts instead of the pitching score. But once again, with these hitting props, what we were trying to find are where the prop line difference is higher by a significant amount. And this is just looking at the projection minus the PrizePicks line. Then we're looking at the prop line difference as well. That's going to be based off of the average Vegas line. And where we want to find is where it's the most significant. And really the only good one that we have, and maybe the lines are tight today because we have a free square. It does seem like that. The only one would be Javi Baez for over hitting fantasy score. So probably not one that we want to touch. Let's actually try to find one, maybe the reverse. And yeah, there's nothing too elite there for the reverse as well. Okay, let's go ahead and move on into NHL. All right, so NHL wise, let's take a peek at it. So we can see, like, if we want to maybe potentially do a push based prop, we could. Okay, we look at Zach. His Vegas line is set at 2.5. PrizePicks has the line set at 3. Chances are this is going to be a push, but does still have a 53% chance for that over to hit. You could roll with that. This one as well with Alex. The PrizePicks line has been bumped to 2. Average Vegas line has it set at 1.5. Has about a 53% chance for that basically to be a push is how I would read that actually. The only good one that we are getting, and I wouldn't even really consider it to be too good, would be Alex for over blocked shots. We can see minus 133% chance for that to hit, projected to get exactly 2.5. So not exactly a lock and load prop there either. It's my long way of saying that we have a lot of props today that are basically pushes, that are basically tight. And I honestly think they did that because today is essentially a taco day with the free Joel Embiid prop. They don't want to lose out money, so they keep the lines tight. Then just real quickly, looking at Underdog, because there is a free square available on there. We can see we got about 3 better props today on Underdog that you could use with the free square as well. With Underdog, though, you only get 1 bet. And so it's going to be for you guys to decide which one you'd want to do there. Let's just take a peek at NBA again real quick on Underdog, see if we have any big prop line differences. We do. Jaylen Brown, fantasy score. PrizePicks, probably overvaluing him. Based off the average Vegas line, has a 39. Wow. 39 Vegas line, projected to get 40. Wow. So maybe bet the over on Underdog there for Jaylen Brown. Has been struggling. I get that. That's a big difference there, though. Obviously, you think he's going to struggle, bet the under on PrizePicks. That's extremely interesting there. And then reverse-wise, nothing too crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and touch on my favorite bets for the day. So looking at it, I'm not exactly a big fan of the Tobias Harris prop. It does feel like we'd be forcing it in there a little bit. And it does seem like we'd probably just want to be betting the unders, but this would probably be one of the better over bets. Malcolm Brogdon's fantasy score got bumped, unfortunately. I thought that would stay the same, and I thought they would have just bumped his points, rebounds, and assists. No, they bumped both. That's unfortunate. And really the best prop that we are getting then would be the Jaylen Brown for over rebounds. I don't love that either. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like Tobias Harris for over fantasy score, Marcus Smart for over fantasy score. I still don't mind the idea of doing Malcolm Brogdon for over points, rebounds, and assists. Sure, it might be a push, but I guess I'd be fine with that. Then we could do Jaylen Brown for over rebounds as well. 53% chance for that to hit. We are just getting extremely tight lines. And by only having one NBA game, the lines are tight. They just are. For what it's worth, we are getting a lot of interesting pitching props as well, like Logan Webb for over fantasy score. He's been dealing. And then Mitch Keller as well. You could do. Just trying to find some here, guys. That's all. But I really should have done a live stream. So like this is what it'd be looking like. And these all just feel extremely tight. Like if there wasn't a free square, I would be saying like this is another low-key betting day. I'm fine still taking the push on this. Marcus Smart, fantasy score, and Tobias Harris were once I'm finishing this video, were the two best props available, still with the Jaylen Brown prop as well. And this is more or less, do I think James Harden's going to continue to struggle shooting? Yes. So I think he'll like have a better day assist wise then. Based off of the Vegas line, it does suggest that we should be betting more the unders on Philly and more the overs on Boston. And this is what sucks. Like, this was a bet that I had way earlier in the day via the 9to5 cheat sheet that I used already. Should hit. This one has one of the best odds to hit. And then I had also used that Malcolm Brogdon prop with it as well. If you guys are curious about kind of my Taco Tuesday free square thought process that goes into that about trying to make a profit each time, I do have that as one of the recommended videos that you'll see in just a second. So make sure to check that out. That's all I have for you guys today. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.